My name is Christopher Nolan. We just have this. I've always watched movies. I mean, I've always been a student of film. I think it was Stanley Kubrick who they said, if you want to learn how to make a film, just make a film. And that was sort of my approach. I started making films when I was a kid, when I was, I think, 7 years old, making films using my dad's Super 8 camera. And I just carried on making films as I grew up. And over the years, they got bigger, better. I've been interested in non-chronological narrative structures for quite a long time. Memento first came around when I was almost finished with Following, my first film. My solution to telling the story subjectively was to deny the audience the same information that the protagonist is denied.
You don't know what's going on. You don't even know my name.
That's basically the end of the movie.
Teddy.
That's because you read it off a fucking picture.
This stuff is the black and white stuff.
Why are you asking me? I can't remember what I've done. You wouldn't believe me anyway.
This is color.
Who the f are you? Teddy? Your buddy?
And this is running backwards as a series of jumps.
Because of my condition. You don't believe someone with this condition.
And what we do is we cut between the two the whole way through. So we alternate scene here, scene there, scene there, scene there, scene there, scene there, and they meet towards the end of the film. There's no question that Memento was by far the biggest leap I ever had to take. The structure I settled on is based on a musical structure called the Shepard Tone, which is a musical illusion whereby you can keep climbing up the scale, but you never seem to go out of reach, if you like. I called my composer, David Julian, on The Prestige. I was trying to figure out the sound of anticipation, the sound of magic, because that's a film about two magicians. I heard this song that just seems to keep going up and up and up. I played it for him down the phone and he went, oh no, that's a Shepard Tone. Like, he knew exactly what it was, described the mechanics, how to make it work. And I said, great, write the music that way. We put it in the sound of the Bat Pod in The Dark Knight, for example, because we didn't ever want it to downshift.
Did it ever feel like this is going to be complicated for the audience?
My life is like a Christopher Nolan movie. I don't really understand what's going on.
Wormhole bends space like this.
Are Christopher Nolan's letters as confusing as some of his films?
So you can take a shortcut through a higher dimension to show that they've turned three-dimensional space into two dimensions.
Did it ever feel like this is going to be complicated for the audience?
Which turns a wormhole into two dimensions, a circle.
Well, it's like, I mean...
You don't want to understand the entire story right from the beginning. Otherwise, there's nothing to unfold.
I encourage people to just come to the movie as an entertainment, as a ride. People who approach it like it's a crossword puzzle or something, they get frustrated. So really, for me, it's about saying to people, no, come and be entertained and come and go on this journey with these characters. What has always fascinated me about dreams is everything within that dream is created by your own mind. A lot of the inspiration for Inception was from a period of my life, when I was in university and didn't have much money and breakfast was free, but it ended at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock or whatever. And so I would go to bed at, 4 in the morning or something, set my alarm, wake up to get the end of breakfast, go back to bed.
Back to sleep.
So then you're in this sleep state where it becomes possible to be very aware of the fact that you're dreaming. And I would experiment with trying to control the dream. It's frustrating, but it's fascinating. And the occasional moment where you get something to work and you're able to actually channel your dream, it's pretty fascinating. You go, okay, that's a superpower. That's an amazing thing. And that was really very much the genesis of the film.
No green screen. Yeah, Christopher Nolan, the director and writer, he builds all the sets. So as an actor, you don't have to play pretend as much.
You kind of realize when you read it, oh, how are we going to do this? Because he's going to want to do this for real.
It feels very, very real, essentially because it is real.
And visual effects technology has been wonderful for enhancing those things and increasing the vocabulary. But sometimes when you're asked to justify these things like not using green screen, it's so much more fun to do it. It's fun for the actors, it's fun for me. There's nothing more dispiriting than when you turn up to work and there's just a green screen with a couple of actors in front of it. It's really, the magic's not there. So trying to do these things for real, trying to use real locations. I've always preferred real locations to sets for the same reason. There's a feeling of reality, there's a feeling of being somewhere that matters. My sort of rule of thumb was we could do a fanciful visual effects sequence if the last shot was real, so that the editing rhythm, once Lee was able to put it together, you'd be continually alternating between something that's real, something that's convincingly photographed on set.
Very early on, I realized I didn't want to tell a conventional historical epic, and that meant that it had to deal with people's sense of time. The storylines run at a different pace. So you've got a week of these guys on the beach, and then you've got that contrasting with a Spitfire pilot who's in the cockpit of a plane up above the events, and he's got about an hour of flying time that's extremely intense. One of the big differences between movies and any other medium like television or radio, whatever, is endings and the way in which the story has to end. It's not a continuing story, it's not episodic. We need a complete experience, a full meal. And so as filmmakers, we're always thinking about what are we leaving people with, because in a way it's very important how we begin, but it's very, very important what we leave people with. And I try to craft an ending for each film that suits the subject, suits the story, and hopefully has resonance. I think resonance really for me is the thing. I want people thinking about the film after they've seen it. Then I feel like I've done my job right.